Hello, friends. I want to read element 12 out of your life book to you. For me, this is a very important piece of the strategy of helping us get to that healthy weight with specifics, but sometimes it's a little bit hard to wrap our heads around it. So I'm just going to read to you from Dr. A's Your Life book, and we're going to start clear over in element 12, which is, it's like chapters. If you're not familiar with it, elements are just integral pieces of our journey. So he likes to call them elements instead of chapters. So element 12, optimizing your success and reaching a healthy weight. Average time to complete 1 week. In element 12, we will learn why timing is so important in terms of waiting before adding key habits of optimal health. Clarify some important guidelines. Describe why the system works the way it does. Start using checklists for success. As you begin your journey to optimal health and well-being and primarily focus on reaching a healthy weight, there are some important guidelines that may create some confusion for you. This is not what I want, so I'm going to address them in this element. To make sure you understand why I'm asking you to do what may seem counterintuitive to your overall success. No fruit or extra carbohydrates during phase 1. No fruit. While you're in phase 1 and are using the prepared fuelings, I ask you not to eat any fruit or any additional carbs. We have always been told that fruit is essential for long-term health. It is absolutely correct. Fruit is an amazing source of nutrients, antioxidants, and many other optimally healthy compounds. In the future, beyond phase 1, healthy consumption of fruit will actually help you maintain your healthy weight and acts as a key component of our healthy eating system. It is only during the weight loss phase I ask that you would not eat any fruit. Why? Whether you're using the prepackaged fuelings or preparing all of your own fuelings on your own, understand that fruit has a considerable amount of carbohydrates, which is mostly in the form of sugar. As a result, they have a relatively high glycemic index and deliver high carbohydrate load. That can take you out of the fat burning state, which we are relying on to remove your excess visceral fat. As you can see from the following diagram, during the state of the habits of health weight loss, we have turned off the insulin pump by specifically avoiding excessive carbohydrates. As a result, the body is using fat as its fuel source to supplement beyond the energy and nutrition supplied by your fuelings and lean and green meal. And there's a picture of what he's talking about. So the habits of health weight loss state phase, he has low calorie, healthy fuelings, fueling from food, and then on the other side, it's fuel from fat cells. Fat cells emptying. That's what we're wanting to create. That's why we don't have fruit. We're not spiking the blood sugar. It's about leveling out blood sugar and allowing the body to shut off that fat storing system of the pancreas. So if you increase the carbohydrate level above a certain threshold, it will stimulate insulin secretion and shut down the fat burning machinery. Habits of disease state. So high calories, unhealthy fueling. So you're getting fuel from that food, and then excess fuel enters into fat cells. So this is what happens when people inadvertently eat something with extra sugar. We ask you to completely eliminate eating carbohydrates and sugar-rich fruit only while you are in the weight loss phase. Once you've reached your healthy weight and we have eliminated the excess unhealthy fat, we will reintroduce fruit and recommend You fill a fourth of your plate at every healthy meal you have with fruit. You will then use our color-coded system to make sure most of the fruit you are eating is in the green zone to keep your insulin level low, as depicted below. Habits of health, healthy eating state phase 2 and beyond. That's where you get balanced calorie, healthy fuelings, fuel from food. Any excess fuel enters fat cells, fuel from fat cells between meals. As you are settling into phase 1, it is important to do a review to make sure that you are not accidentally consuming a hidden carbohydrate source. This can slow down or even stop your weight loss now or in the future. Here's the next piece. No or reduced exercise during the first 3 weeks of phase 3. Phase 1. How can eliminating or reducing the amount of exercise I do be a good thing as I start on this journey? The habits of healthy motion are a key macro habit in our system. It's one of those big rocks that we will be putting into the mason jar in the coming elements. It is much like the fruit guideline in that it's all about the timing. When we switch your body over to a fat-burning state, it is important to optimize the conditions for success. Your body is switching fuel sources and is not accustomed to using its fat as its main energy source. Over a period of weeks, it will make that adjustment, and we will add more activity to increase your motion. And since we are dropping your daily caloric intake, if we do not go slow, there is a chance that you will become hypoglycemic, low blood sugar, and not feel very well. In addition, if you create this state, the body releases hormones such as cortisol and epinephrine, which may actually slow down your weight loss. If you have a great deal of weight to lose, a sudden increase in exercise places a high level of stress on your musculoskeletal system. Instead of risking injury, we encourage you to wait until you've lost weight and have begun to improve your stamina. Remember, our fuelings are providing the primary means of your losing weight in phase 1. In phase 2 and beyond, the progressive motion and exercise will become primary component in helping you maintain a healthy weight and optimizing your health and well-being. So let's look at where you are in terms of your current activity level as you start the weight loss phase 1. Current minimal activity. In your case, you are probably excited that you're going to start losing your unhealthy fat without any initial need to increase your activity. In Dr. A's Habits of Health, Part 2.2 and 2.3, we explained that our Phase 1 program focuses on the quantity and quality of the food you're eating to put you in a fat-burning state. Your work will start in earnest after the first 3 weeks, when we will increase your activity in baby steps as outlined in our system. As your weight has decreased, and I'm sure you're feeling much better, perhaps you've started adding more activity, such as using the stairs instead of the elevator or taking the dog for a walk. If you've been in phase 1 for a while, you may have started learning the progressive movement system for sustainable exercise, as outlined in Dr. A's Habits of Health, Part 2.9 to 2.12, and elements 17 and 18. Whatever your current level of physical ability, my plan is designed to give you an easy entry into the world of fitness. You've been hearing me talk about the relatively minor roles of exercise plays in weight loss. Well, that was true in the beginning of phase 1, but increasing your activity level becomes very important as you move from phase 1 into phase 2 and beyond. After the first 3 weeks of phase 1, your body is ready for increased motion. You're lighter, you have more confidence, you're physically healthier, you have the right motivation, and you're in the process of installing and are in better command of the Habits of Health transformation system. My NEAT and EAT plans for physical movement are doable and designed to fit your current level of health and fitness. Over time, these systems will put you on track for long-term success. Currently moderate active. A few years back, I spoke to a group of women at a local gym. They were all interested in reaching a healthier weight. As I explained how we would accomplish this, they became noticeably anxious when I mentioned to them that we would want them to cut back their exercise for 3 weeks to mostly stretching and limited exercise that did not make them sweat. I asked them how long they had been at the gym, and on average, they had been there about 2 years. I asked them how long ago they started and how much weight they had lost. Most of them had lost a few pounds, but had put the weight back on. I first congratulated them on the success at establishing one of the habits of healthy motion, exercise, EAT, exercise activity thermogenesis, which we will discuss in the motion element ahead. I then explained how it is virtually impossible to lose weight consistently with exercise alone without diet modification. In fact, when women work out, they experience what's called compensation, a state where you become so hungry that you have a tendency to eat more to make up for the calorie deficit. This explains why, despite the diligence, they were not losing weight as desired. I then asked if they would follow my guidelines if I promised that they would see results, such as seeing the contours of their hard-earned muscles that were currently hidden by fat in as little as 3 weeks. They were more than pleased, and after the 3 weeks or so had passed, we started progressing them back to more activity. As they slowly worked back to full workout, I suggested they sandwiched a fueling on either side of the workout. I recommended a shake before and a bar with a glass of water after the workout, especially as the bodies adjust. It's in this group of moderate activity, we also taught them how to increase their activity throughout their day and not just when they were at the gym, which is an important lesson that's going to be learned with the NEAT system. So currently intense activity. If you're in this group, the same rules apply as above. You will want to cut your exercise in half or more until your body acclimates. If you're training for a marathon or extreme games event, you should probably wait until after the event before going on the lowest calorie program. Our simple 5-in-1 program is what he's talking about. You can work with your coach to increase your calories by adding additional lean and green fuelings. Also, like the above group, it is important to sandwich a fueling on either side of the workout, especially in the beginning, or if the workout is intense, to avoid low blood sugar post-workout. If you're serious about not just losing fat, but gaining muscle, it will be worthwhile to talk to a trainer who can explain the value of the selective protein usage, such as branched chain amino acids. Make sure you are adding the other habits of motion so you're working on your cardiovascular endurance and flexibility as well. And you may have talked to your coach if you're at that stage using our essential amino acids. We actually have a product that will allow for more exercise, but still be really mindful of that first 3 weeks. In summary, if you're inactive when you start the program, we'll begin increasing your motion as you start feeling better, losing weight, and feeling more energized. This will help you learn the habits of motion, which are critical to sustaining long-term weight control and optimal health and well-being. If you're currently active, just cut it back until we get you into a solid fat-burning state and your body acclimated. You can then slowly work yourself back to activity at a rate that allows you to thrive. For you hardcore enthusiasts that are into significant, intense activity, move at a pace that allows your body to adjust so you lose that unhealthy fat and expose your underlying physique at a pace that is safe and effective. And there's a spot. What is your current activity level? In your first 3 weeks of adjustment, what are you going to be doing? And after 3 weeks, write down how you're going to increase your activity. So, why am I eating fuelings versus whole food? But isn't eating whole foods better? Yes. And we will get there as you learn the habits of health. But reaching a healthy weight is our first priority and the most profound change you can make to your health. As we discussed in Element 9, how do you use fuelings to reach a healthy weight? Focusing on whole foods doesn't guarantee weight loss. There are many people who eat whole foods every day and are obese. The secret is to understand how to use whole foods effectively, and then the prepared fuelings will be used when you do not have time or access to the whole food. But we need to create success so you are in the game and getting healthier. We are going to use our 5 fuelings along with a healthy lean and green as a plan because they are easy, cost-effective, and safe way to start gaining health by losing weight. As you feel better, you have more energy and are sleeping better. You will start building the confidence in our system, in Dr. A, and in your coach, and in yourself. That creates the teachable moments where your motivation is higher, and you will be willing to go to work to learn the other necessary habits, none of which are more important than the healthy eating system that I will be teaching you shortly. It will give you full command over everything you eat and some great tools to make the job easier. So yes, it's once again about timing. We start off using fuelings in the 5-in-1 plan to help you reach a healthy weight, which is the most important factor in our health. We then teach you a series of micro habits, how to choose correctly at both the store and restaurants and have full command over your weight management. At that point, you will be eating whole foods when it makes sense, and the fuelings as convenient portable meals when you are short on time or if whole foods is not accessible. And then there's a spot to put, please describe below why we use combination of fuelings and lean and greens in phase 1. A lean and green is practice for when you are thriving with whole foods. The fuelings are just for simplicity, so you can take the time to create, you can get into the education and recognize there's a huge difference between ultra processed, which is Doritos or Oreos, things that have high fructose corn syrup that has refined sugar and flour in it, versus our fuelings. Yes, they are processed, but they are created in a place low glycemic. They are not addictive. They're just going to serve your body with protein, carb, low glycemic, serve your body so that you can get to that place that you want to, and at the same time have enough time to get into the education and become a healthy person instead of somebody just going on a diet. So, let's see. It says, please describe below why we use a combination. We just talked about that. Please describe below what role whole foods and the fuelings now play in phase 1 and how this will change over time. Discuss this with your coach. Secrets to success while in phase 1, weight loss. Checklists to success. You can check these off. Eat 1 fueling every 3 hours. Don't skip meals, even if you're not hungry. It's absolutely critical to fuel as scheduled. In fact, your weight loss may be slower if you don't. Get some extra rest. You may feel a little tired during the first 3 days as your body switches on its fat burning mechanism and gears up to use its stores of fat. Drink 8-ounce glasses of water every day. Eat slowly. Stay busy and avoid sights and smells that remind you of food, especially during the first few days. Soon enough, your own energy stores will kick in and you'll feel more in control. Use your support system. Call your coach. And if you don't have one, get one. Connect with our community in person, online, and on video and conference calls. Though on Zooms, you're incredible. Ask your coach for more details. The Monday night webinars are incredible too. Limit caffeine to no more than 3 servings a day. You may find that your body is more sensitive to the effects of caffeine, making this a great time to cut back on your daily consumption. Avoid alcohol. It causes dehydration, throws you out of that fat burning state you've worked so hard to achieve, and is a powerful appetite stimulant. If you slip up, just get right back on track. But remember, it will take a little bit of time to get back into that fat burning state. For example, for some extra motivation, review parts 1.3 through 1.5 in Dr. A's Habits of Health on making good choices. Make your Lifebook your best friend. Print off tracking sheets. This is a great way to monitor your progress and help your focus. Use the Optavia app to optimize your transformation. Avoid exercise, again, for the first 3 weeks, or if you do choose to exercise, reduce your usual amount in half. How long you stay in phase 1 depends primarily on how much weight you have to lose and how long you take to lose it, as well as your target BMI, while your weight loss goal can be whatever you're determined is healthy for you. There are some guidelines concerning body composition. Generally speaking, if your waist circumference is less than 37 inches for men and 31.5 inches for women, and your BMI is less than 25, you're ready to transition to healthy eating phase. In general, you should count on being in the weight loss phase until you meet your goals and are able to maintain them for at least 2 weeks. If you have just a small amount of weight to lose, you'll transition to phase 2 fairly quickly. Continue advancing through your Lifebook elements. You will also want to read the chapters on my healthy low glycemic portion control system. Part 2.4 through 2.7 in Dr. A's Habits of Health before you begin transitioning in element 14. Because you'll be using much of that information as you learn to eat for life. After that, you'll begin the progressive movement plan outlined in part 2.9 through 2.12. If you have a lot of weight to lose, you'll be in the phase 1 for a while. When the time comes and you've reached your healthy weight, part 2.8 will teach you about transitioning to phase 2. In the meantime, you should read the chapters on my healthy low glycemic portion controlled systems, part 2.4 through 2.7, because you'll be using much of that information as you learn to eat healthy for life. In addition, once you've settled into a fat burning state after the first 3 weeks, you should start the progressive movement plan outlined in part 2.9 through 2.12. However, your weight loss can vary depending on your gender and certain medical conditions that may slow down your weight loss, such as hypothyroidism and PCOS, polycystic ovarian system. I would review this material often as you are losing weight and creating health. Make sure you're taking some notes as you experience better health and discuss how you are doing with your coach, because understanding where you are on your journey and having support can make all the difference. In the next element, we will give you a simple way of evaluating your days one at a time, because your transformation occurs one day at a time. Our goal is to make small incremental improvements one day at a time. This will give you more optimal days, which will be created by the Habits of Health in a series of micro habit installation. Over time, you will become as healthy as you can be and experience thriving days of well-being. And since the goal is to get 1% better each day, we need to evaluate, track, and make adjustments to get just a touch better each day. And if we're not, then explore why and amp up your support and maybe ratchet down the size of your micro habits. It doesn't matter, because we are building your new story, and each day offers you an opportunity to be open, curious, and learn how to get better. But first, we must have a way of checking how we are doing and develop a means of sharing it with our support team. And then there's some notes in there. And make sure when you get to the end of any chapter or element that after you fill out your notes, connect with your coach and go over those. That's part of the neuroplasticity of what Dr. A has created for us to become a healthy person. We can change the way that our brain works. We can become a healthy person. All right, thanks for joining me.